Hi everyone, in this video we're going to talk about the Adobe Dreamweaver and how it compares to WordPress in terms of building websites. We're going to look at things like functionality, cost, and overall ease of use of using these two platforms and what would be better in what scenario as well. So to start off with, Adobe Dreamweaver is a web development tool from Adobe Inc. It's essentially a web application program that allows you to build and publish web pages almost anywhere with software that supports HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and more. It's useful for a variety of web designers, all the way from beginners to advanced professionals, and has been used to create a lot of popular websites that we use today. Adobe Dreamweaver has been a serious choice for a lot of advanced web design tools, both for graphic designers and people who code. And it is a good choice for custom built mobile and desktop types. To go over briefly some of the pros and cons, some of the positives of Adobe Dreamweaver is that it's very flexible and very powerful, and it supports a lot of third-party platforms. Their responsive design support is built in within the editor, so it is easy to kind of edit your site on mobile and different and different screen sizes as well. Because it's software developed by Adobe Incorporated, they have a lot of good integration with their other Adobe apps, like Photoshop and Advanced Illustrator and things like that. Their code editor uses the sort of full IDE style code editor with live WYSIWYG editing, and they have real-time preview. And briefly, some of the top-level cons is that there is a steep first-time learning curve and a complex sort of interface. So if you are new to designing websites, if you're new to coding, it can seem like a bit you can struggle with just learning and getting to grips of using the editor in general and not just coding in general. The other con is that there's not a undo feature, or there is an undo feature, but it's quite glitchy. It doesn't tend to work in all contexts as well. But those are just kind of top level cons, pros and cons, and we'll get into those throughout this video as well. But with Adobe Dreamweaver, you can build websites using a lot of tools like Adobe Dreamweaver, but Adobe Dreamweaver itself is suitable for individual designers as well as enterprise scale projects, and it's helpful when you build a site by writing the actual code in the WYSIWYG graphic layout, than rather hiding all the code until you need it. So like all other Adobe apps, it comes identical in Mac versus Windows, and it's available through a Dreamweaver only paid subscription, I think of $20 a month. If you click onto buy now on their website, yes, so you get up to $21 a month for the pricing as well. You can also get it as part of the Creative Cloud suite. You can get so it's included as part of all the apps at $55 a month. So if you do use other Adobe products like Behance, Adobe Fonts, things like that, then this might be a better value as well. Both the individual app and the full suite subscription come with 100 GB of cloud storage, so that's another thing that kind of adds to your value as well. So one of the pros that we mentioned about Adobe Dreamweaver is that it has really good responsive design. So Dreamweaver kind of excel at creating multi-platform websites that kind of work equally well on a phone as well as tablet as well. However, it can be a bit glitchy. Dreamweaver still has some awkward spots where it can't decide whether it's a tool for advanced coders or for visually oriented designers. But they are easy to kind of work around if you have the experience and the knowledge too as well. Adobe also prefers you to work with Adobe tools, so it's easy to use sort of Photoshop and Illustrator to edit your images, or Premiere Pro within the Dreamweaver app. So if you're already used to using those kind of programs anyway, then this might be a better, more option for you as well. Dreamweaver used the Bootstrap framework for responsive websites, and they use the latest Bootstrap version, I think, of 4.3.1. So they do use the kind of traditional Bootstrap responsive design as well. So this is sort of an example of Adobe Dreamweaver's interface. So one of the features of Adobe Dreamweaver is that it uses something called code highlighting. Code highlighting kind of help you quickly scan your code as well as spot any kind of errors. With each type of code, there's a different set of highlights to kind of help you differentiate between HTML, CSS, and JavaScript as well. This is useful if you have a lot of code on a page that's a mix of HTML and dynamic languages like PHP or ASP.NET. For web design, beginner's code highlighting helps you kind of further understand what each part of your code does and how making a mistake kind of affects the code below it. So that's just one of the features of Adobe Dreamweaver. Another feature is Code Suggest. So this is quite useful and also a bit of a time saver. So Dreamweaver's Code Suggest feature, basically whenever you type a HTML tag, it will list all the available tags, allowing you to kind of key in the first letter of a tag and then select the required tag from the list below. So not as useful for, not just useful for tags, but also useful for attributes as well that kind of come into play afterwards. When you're writing CSS, for example, a popular CSS property would be font family, colon Arial, comma Helvetica, comma sans serif. And now instead you can just write a small version of that and just have the rest of the code be suggested for you and select that, and then you're done. So it makes it really easier and does save a lot of time, especially if those are the type of things that you're going to be typing over and over again anyway. So that does help as well. So code suggestion is a useful reference for beginners, and it helps with web designers a lot manage bigger sites with the possibility of hundreds of classes and IDs and things like that. They also have a code and design view. So for example, this is another screenshot here. So you can see what your code is actually creating. So they have that kind of a side-by-side view, and this is what they are getting from the WYSIWYG editor. It can be really helpful. You can switch between code and design view as well. If you're just adding content to pages, then design view might be better, but you can also just stick to code pages. But overall, this kind of gives you an idea exactly of whenever you're typing your code, how it's going to look on the front end, and you can there and then make any mistake, fix any mistakes if you spot any. Dreamweaver itself do a lot of their own code validation and accessibility checks. So mistakes can sort of easily be found and be highlighted during the coding rather than after being uploaded to server using the Dreamweaver's code validation and accessibility checker. So it's a great kind of first line of defense against errors and mistakes, and kind of help make sure that the code that you have is accessible and has web standard as well. Another really interesting feature is the template feature. So whenever you build a certain section in Dreamweaver, so once you create one page that has the overall layout and functionality across the site that you want to use elsewhere in your site, you can turn that specific page into a template. And that way you're kind of making sure that there's consistency across your site by using the same kind of font styling, same kind of code and things like that. Dreamweaver templates use HTML comments, so that it's easy to kind of do a save as existing page, create a new page from a template, and make a new page. That way, you're not starting each new page from scratch. You've got already a page that's already been designed and built for you, and all you need to do is change the content. So it's really handy, really useful. They can have optional regions, kind of like how if you turn widgets on and off in WordPress, for example, if you want to have all those pages to have a login, but only the user, once the user has logged in, you can set it so that it hides the panel. You can do that with Dreamweaver templates as well. The great thing for learners is that they are able to create bigger, more manageable sites without having to learn PHP or ASP.NET just yet. It's very easy and quick and easy to kind of manage as well. You can see the kind of editable area. You can see the editable area here, and what areas are kind of set as non-editable. So that's some of the better features of Dreamweaver. You can see that there's a lot you can do with it, and there's a lot that you can manage with it as well. There are some drawbacks with using Dreamweaver though, and one of them being the confusing interface. At the very top, at the bar, you can see that there are about 15 items, ranging from like menu items, quick interface changes, and then there's like 5 to about 50 things, depending on how many files you have open. Over here in your local files on the third tier, and then there's also a lot more items over here as well, that all come standard with the editor. So that's a lot of things for you to kind of see and register and understand and just have on your screen. It can be a bit confusing and can be difficult to kind of wrap your brain around all the things and be able to understand what each of those things are for. So that can be a little bit off-putting, especially if you're someone that likes kind of clutter-free interface. There's a lot of things here that you might not even use for a specific template and for a specific page. So that can put some people off using the Dreamweaver interface as well. On top of that, this means that there's a very steep learning curve. So learning Dreamweaver for the first time can be very daunting, even just looking at this interface alone, especially if you have very limited design or coding experience. This can also be really off-putting because nothing is really kind of intuitive. Everything is very manual. The tools that Dreamweaver has to offer has so many different points of developing a website. So like you can add your own database using the testing server environment, but if you're a learner, then that's something that is kind of will be over your head basically, and it can be a bit confusing to learn in the beginning. It might not be a good option if you are a beginner. For beginners, maybe starting off with platforms like Wix or Shopify, or even using WordPress with a builder on first, just to understand the basics of web design and different elements, things like that, and gradually make your way up to Dreamweaver might be a better option. But it is sometimes hard to explain a lot of what Dreamweaver has to offer as well. For simple designs, everything is surrounded by very kind of overcomplicated things. Which is why, again, it can be very off-putting. And it also just makes it a bit bloated as well. It isn't something that you could learn intuitively. You would need someone, especially if you don't have a background in technology or you're just starting out. It's something that someone would need to show you, give you kind of preview to kind of enable you to kind of climb that steep learning curve that Dreamweaver has to offer. Books are a good way to get to know around watching tutorials as well. The best way might be just to even work with someone who uses Dreamweaver in the day-to-day, as they'll know which tools are the most relevant for what kind of websites. And that'll kind of allow you to kind of concentrate on using a tool rather than how to use it, basically. Another con might be the pricing of it. So again, if you go onto Dreamweaver's website, you can go onto their pricing page and see how much you're paying for the Dreamweaver program. So as mentioned before, it starts at £20 a month, and you get 100 GB of cloud storage, and you get Dreamweaver on desktop. This can be a lot because that's not including any hosting fees that you'll need to put on top of that, domains, anything like that. None of that is included. It's specifically just for the software that you're buying. Again, if you have other Adobe programs that you use, things like the Creative Cloud assets, Adobe Fonts, Behance, if you're already using them or you plan on using them, then it's better maybe just to get the Creative Cloud, a little bit more expensive, but you're getting a lot more programs for what you're paying for, and you also get 100 GB cloud storage. So if Adobe Dreamweaver is the only Adobe product that you're going to end up using, then this can seem like a bit too much of a cost for your website because it is a monthly cost. If you are already using other products that Adobe offers, then it might be better just to use the Creative Cloud app product as well, because then you're getting that anyway. it is, yeah, quite a high price point. So especially knowing that there are kind of like other nice alternatives for both some of the Adobe products and also Dreamweaver as well. In saying all that, there are a lot of websites, even nowadays, that have used Adobe Dreamweaver to build their websites. A lot of popular ones and really powerful ones as well that look really good and look really professional. For example, one example is Wired.com. So Wired is a website that is essentially news website so it has multiple stories divided into several niche topics that people can read, and with regard to kind of the most popular user preferences. So this is a website where a lot of people browse, a high traffic website, and where a lot of hand-picked blogs are used and interesting content from are posted sort of from around the world. The website itself is very logically structured. It's very easy to browse. All the posts are in like themed categories. So you see there's themes for culture, science, COVID. It's very sort of easy for users to kind of navigate, especially if they know what kind of blog posts that they're kind of wanting to read about. They can just browse through all of their categories here. They also have the categories listed at the top as well. Very minimal, very like it's quite busy, but it's not cluttered. So it's a really kind of well-designed website. There's also a little search filter as well, which is very useful on websites that have a lot of blog posts and stories and things like that. There's also lots of access to social media networks, just on their footer, and they can subscribe to email marketing as well. So the website makes that possible to get updates in like the shortest amount of time, basically. So this is a really good example of a website that's been built in Adobe Dreamweaver, with a good design and with a good sort of organization and really good user journeys across the site as well. So yeah, this entire website was built with Dreamweaver, and it's a very popular one as well. Another really popular example is the Glamour magazine. So Glamour magazine is one of the best online magazines out there, and it's also built with Adobe Dreamweaver. It's used for people who are interested in celebrity fashion, celebrity news, fashion news, beauty, all of that. So the magazine is one that's being updated constantly with new stories on a regular basis, new products in their shopping channel as well. So they do have that element of shopping element as well, and things like that. Not fully an e-commerce site, as they link off to as the products link off to the original independent seller platforms, but they do have that feature within that as well. So the website itself has a very contemporary design, very stylish, and then similar to the Wired magazine, all of the news and blog posts are divided into several categories to kind of make it a bit more simple for users to navigate between each of the posts, whether they want something to do with entertainment, movies, celebrity fashion, celebrity style, and beauty club, lots more. And as you scroll down, you'll come across news posts that relate to each topic that kind of deserve a bit more attention. So you'll see some posts are slightly bigger than others. So for example, this first one here, as this is the most recent one, so obviously it's doing that to kind of attract users to the most recent posts as well. Similar to the Wired website, there is that sort of sidebar there as well, and links to social media as well. It's got the big kind of mega menu with really kind of eye-catching fonts as well, so that you know exactly where you're going, and may make it really easy to navigate between this website. And again, as this website itself is very stylish and very kind of modern design as well. And again, this is entirely powered by Dreamweaver, designed by Dreamweaver. So a really good example of how Dreamweaver websites can look, and how they make it easy for the user to kind of journey around the website and things like that. Another popular website built with Adobe Dreamweaver is Fabletics. It's a web store of clothes and retail, essentially, that offers a collection of products to choose from. So it is an e-commerce website, so further proving a bit more functionality of Adobe Dreamweaver. So when you first visit the website, you'll see the pop-up window that makes you pick a category that you're interested in, either shop men's or shop women's. And this further helps users narrow down the search, saving users time, a lot of effort. And you can also view the collections just on the website as well, and pick an item by clicking on either the Shop Now button or click on Shop on the Go, and makes it really easy to immediately get to a product and buy that product. This means that it makes the user journey a lot more easier as well. You can view the collection and pick an item by clicking on the Shop Now button or browsing the website menu. You see at the top the products are separated between men and women, and within each drop down there's like a mega menu that lists out every single product type, product category, and things like that. There's a slide bar and slider that kind of provides an overview of the most popular items along with special features, characteristics, parameters. This focuses customers' attention on the advantages of this product or that product. And as you scroll down, you can see loads of collections of bestsellers, must-haves, new arrivals, as seen on TV, reasons to buy as well, and sort of upselling some products, and also upselling things like their membership as well. Again, so different to the previous two websites that we've seen, which were more blog websites, this is a full-on e-commerce website, so obviously designed a little bit differently, but still really professional, really stylish, matching in with all the branding, and also just showcases exactly what Adobe Dreamweaver can do for e-commerce style websites and what's possible within that realm as well. So you can see as well another pop-up again to kind of make the user journey a lot more easier. What are you shopping for? And then it takes you essentially to a quiz that you can sort of take. And this kind of helps users to essentially find exactly what they're looking for and exactly what size that they're looking for. And also collect some information as well. Features like that are small, but they make the customer journey just that much better, and ensures that customers stay on your website, find it easy to manage, easy to consume as well, and obviously either buy a product if that's what you're doing, or read your news if that's what you want. But essentially all this is done with Adobe Dreamweaver, so you know that it's capable of lots of good things. So you can see, just even with these three examples, Adobe Dreamweaver isn't just like a simple web design platform. It does cater to a lot of functionality. It can be a bit difficult to use, but it is capable of a lot. It has a bunch of integrated features and tools that contribute to effective and professional website creation. It might take a little bit more time to explore, but that option is there if you ever need it. So maybe not something for a newcomer, but if you are experienced in web design, web coding, then it might be easier for you to use as well. So alternatives to Adobe Dreamweaver is WordPress.